everyone. Welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy Update. Quick housekeeping before we get started. I do want to let you guys know that we have a new membership available here on the channel, here directly on YouTube. This is an archive of all of the past exclusive readings that we had previously hosted over on the Patreon. If you guys missed the announcements that we had over the past month, the Patreon is now closed as we are getting ready to launch a new sacred membership that has 3 levels to really support you in the breakthroughs and transformations of your sacred union and ascension journey. So we're announcing that, we're launching that starting September 1st, but we'll have more of an announcement towards the end of the month to really introduce that and what that is going to look like. Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections is evolving in really profound ways. I'm so excited for what we've been creating in the background, and now we're getting ready to launch it and bring it to the world, bring it to light. So I'm really excited for that. But as part of that organization, as part of that maintenance, what we're doing is we're bringing all of that over to YouTube here. It's only $6.99 for a month. There's something like 200 readings and channelings, including pick-a piles, bonus readings, extended readings for the Sacred Union energy updates and the Ascension relationship energy updates that we did previously, as well as specific scenario, this reading is for you readings. So feel free to join and cancel at any time. Feel free to join and browse through the hundreds of channelings that we have available there. It is just an archive for now, as I get really situated with the new work that we're doing here at Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. I'm going to be getting more into a routine for these channelings, for these readings. Once the membership launches, I'll get back into a routine of doing readings. So we might bring more into that membership, into those exclusive readings, pick a pile, specific scenario readings, stuff like that. But for now, it is just an archive only. No new content is being created for that for now. Like I said, that might change in the future, but right now it's just an archive. But they are timeless readings, especially the pick a pile. So if you're interested in those, you can feel free to go ahead and check that out. All you have to do is go to my channel and hit that join button. Okay, so the energies. Bear with me. I am still not feeling very well. I have been battling something. It's either a head cold or a sinus infection. I'm not quite sure what. One day I feel fine, and I feel fine energetically. But one day I'll feel fine, and the next day I'll have like swollen lymph nodes and sore throat and stuffy and all that stuff. And the next day I'm fine, and the other day I'm not. And I'm definitely taking care of myself, but the head's a little fuzzy, so we're gonna do our best to channel and see what is coming through, especially because we have a rare full blue supermoon, blue super full moon, however you want to say it. It is a rare cosmic event that is happening tomorrow, August 19th. Remember, these readings are all meant to be timeless, so if you're catching up on this later in the week or somewhere down the line, take the messages how they resonate for you. Just because these cosmic events might pass doesn't mean that the messages therein aren't still resonant. So we're going to channel a little bit about the blue supermoon first. Like I said, it's happening tomorrow, August 19th. It is in the sign of Aquarius, which is really indicative of where we are right now, especially coming out of that Lionsgate energy, which was very interesting. I was saying to a friend that the Lionsgate energy felt heavier than usual, and now heavy does not mean bad. It's not a negative connotation in this sense. It was just very, very heightened, very, very enhanced. We did a workshop called the Lionsgate Sacred Integration, where we channeled more about the Lionsgate and this enhanced energy. I'll put the link in the description box for you guys if you want to check that out. It's also available in our Ascension Connections portal on our website. So there's more about that. I'm not going to get into the Lionsgate energy, but because this super full blue moon is occurring right after that, it's a lot of enhanced energy right now, a lot of cosmic support that we are experiencing right now for our rapid ascension, for our transformation. And the key that I'm hearing is, are we going to allow it, or are we going to resist it? And I'm also hearing, if we're resisting it, where is that resistance stemming from? Where is that coming from? And how can we transcend that? How can we transmute that resistance so that we're more open, more surrendered, more going with the flow of what these cosmic events are trying to bring through as far as that support? So being in the sign of Aquarius is very interesting because we're in Aquarian energy right now. We're going to be in Aquarian energy, the age of Aquarius, for the next 20, 30 years. If you watch my year ahead reading, we channel a lot about Aquarius. I'll put all these links in the description box for you to check out. But 2024 is all about that Aquarian energy. It's all about innovation. It's all about humanitarianism. It's all about liberation. And what this super blue full moon is especially with the Aquarius energy, is innovation of the new and liberation from the old. We have an opportunity, especially on the heels of the Lion's Gate, we have an opportunity to really move into a new energy and set that intention for the new energy. It enhances the energy of our intentions. Especially heading into the rest of the year, for the last 4 months of the year. What is it that we're creating? What is it that we're manifesting? And if we are in resistance, if we're in old energy, liberating ourselves from that so that we can innovate. It's a really great word, innovation. We can innovate our lives, by which I mean create something new for ourselves, something that maybe we thought that we were limited in, but going beyond those limitations. So why is this super blue full moon, this full blue supermoon, why is it so rare? It's rare because it's not going to happen again until 2037. And it's when the blue moon and a supermoon align. So we have the full supermoon, which is when the moon's orbit is bringing the moon closer to Earth at the same time that the moon is full. And we have supermoons all the time. It's very enhanced energy. But the blue moon is when there are 4 full moons in a single season. So this summer we've already had 4 full moons. There's been, usually we have a lunar cycle where there's in 1 month, in 130-day span, there's a new moon and a full moon, and then a new moon and then a full moon. But we've had 2 full moons within that monthly cycle, within that lunar cycle. So that's what makes this the blue moon. So heightened intuition, awareness, and deeper levels of consciousness that is enhancing the energy of our intentions, that is creating breakthroughs, creations for the new. But are we going to allow ourselves to release that resistance, liberate ourselves from the old versions of ourselves, from our old identities, from old energies? Whatever that might look like in the physical experience, it's an energy as well. So this could be relationships, this could be jobs, this could be beliefs, this could be locations, whatever that might look like to you in the physical or even internally, is because the energy is shifting or wanting to shift. And so how are we going to break through those old limitations, that old resistance, and create the new? So very interesting energy, a very interesting time. So let's channel this energy and see what is coming through with regards to sacred partners. Let's see what is coming through. I keep hearing the word opportunity. And so I feel like this is an opportunity to really break through something within yourself. If there's a place of limitation or a belief or a resistance of a belief within yourself, really breaking open, an opportunity to break open within yourself. And I feel like this is especially for the divine feminine. If there was a place where you had your guard up, where you were in resistance, for whatever reason, whatever reason, those are valid reasons. Whatever your experiences, whatever your feelings, those are always going to be valid because it's part of your experience. But are you going to allow yourself to release? Are you going to allow yourself to surrender to where your soul is trying to guide you, where your soul is trying to lead you? Or are you going to keep perpetuating patterns? That's what this journey is really showing us. It's showing us how to move beyond the limitations that we think, the limitations that we believe, the limitations that we are conditioned to. And those limitations are all about restrictions. And that's what Aquarius energy is. It's moving beyond the restrictions, moving beyond those limitations. So when we're applying this to sacred partnership, is there a guard up? Is there a block up? Are you restricting yourself from the flow of love that naturally exists between counterparts? And we're not talking about the physical aspect of this right now. We're talking about the energetic flow. Whatever is going on in your physical experience with your counterpart, Whether it's no communication, no contact, whether there's friction, whether there's triggers, everybody's going to be experiencing it in a little bit of a different way. It's about opening up to the energy and allowing that energy of love to flow through. That is the natural occurrence of who you are as divine counterparts, as sacred partners. You are that flow of love. Are you going to allow that love to flow through? Your physical experience is going to be a reflection of the energy that you hold within. Are you creating a block within yourself? Are you having a guard up? And again, maybe there's a valid reason that you have that. It doesn't mean that you don't have your boundaries in the physical. It doesn't mean that you don't have your standards in the physical. You don't have to engage in the physical. If there are hurtful things that are happening, if there is no contact, if there's no communication, if there's triggers, if there's friction between you two, you don't have to engage in that energy in the physical. But you can connect within yourself. It's all about the connection within yourself. That higher heart space is where your connection resides. And then it's reflected in your physical experience. So releasing that resistance, releasing limitations, and allowing yourself to transcend beyond the evidence of what you're seeing. We go deep into that in previous channelings, and I want to remind you guys that I am moving over some of our sacred channelings from my sister channel, Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, into here, Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections, just because some of those messages are really resonant right now, and I don't want that to be missed, whether it's for your ascension journey or your sacred union journey. Remember, if you're on the sacred union journey, if you're on the twin flame journey, it is your ascension journey, so don't miss those ascension messages either. That's part of your journey as well. It's the sacred union path of ascension. It's just one path of ascension. Your counterpart has catalyzed you to this ascension journey, so don't hyper focus on the sacred union aspect by missing out on the importance of your own ascension journey, your personal ascension journey. So we're moving some of those readings and channelings over. You can find much more in our free resource library, in our Ascension Connections portal, and in our video bundles, especially our Journey to Union bundle. So all of that information is available on my website. You can check that out in the description box as well. But like I said, I'm moving some of those sacred channelings over, and I feel like they're going to be very relevant, even though they're past readings that we channeled around 2022, 2023. Remember I said that the energy back then had been kind of hijacked for sacred unions, and now we're coming back to the beginning. Now we're coming back around again. We're getting back on track. That's why those channelings are relevant even now. That's why they're calling me to repost. They're calling me to bring that back to our awareness, because those messages are important for where we are, where we've come back to on our journey. We're getting back on track with these unions because we're getting back on track within ourselves and holding that space and holding that light and clearing any of that soul sludge, any of that toxicity, any of that resistance, any of the places where we felt restricted within ourselves. We're clearing all that energy right now collectively. And so it might have felt like things got very much off track, but now we're getting back on track as part of our collective evolution. So check out those channelings as well. They might hold significance for your personal journey as well. And only take them if they resonate with you. Obviously disregard them if they don't. Okay, so let's see what's going on right now in the current energies for the sacred masculine. What's going on right now for the masculine energy? Needs divine partnership. What's going on right now? What's going on right now? We have the card Surrender. And if you look at that card, that's very indicative of this Hermit energy. And yeah, I'm also getting the 6, the 2 and the 6 is that 8 number, and that is that Lionsgate energy. That is still very prevalent right now, and I feel like the divine masculine has been going through this process, especially with the Lionsgate energy. We just did a channeling with the Sacred Union energy update a couple of days ago, that this felt prevalent as well. Surrender, it doesn't feel like submission. Surrender just feels like releasing that resistance that we were talking about. So I feel like this is a lot of masculine energy, allowing themselves to receive is what I'm getting. I feel like they're very tuned into the feminine energy. They might actually even be tuned into your feminine energy. Divine Feminines, you might be very connected to your masculine at this time. For some of you who are in a physical relationship with your counterpart, you might find yourself communicating more. You might find yourself, I'm also hearing being more vulnerable, being more emotionally intimate with each other. A desire to go deeper. You might find yourselves opening up. That's going to be for specific, maybe one or two specific people. For those of you who are in connection and communication, there's a vulnerability that's coming through. There's an emotional intimacy. Not forced. That's really important. Not manipulated and not forced, but just allowing the unfolding of that communication is going to be really important. For others who are in no contact or no communication, remember that that's not indicative of your union. That's not indicative of where you are on the journey. So don't let that separation trigger you, because separation is an illusion. You're connecting within your heart space. You're connecting within the energy. And so I feel like your intuition might be very heightened right now. And you might be connecting in dream state. You might be connecting in meditation. There's a enhanced prevalence. Your counterpart is very present with you right now. There's a lot of it might even feel very visceral, where it feels like they're with you. It feels like they're like sitting right next to you, and things like that. Or you might be having conversations in your mind with them. You might be having, like, find yourself inadvertently daydreaming, things like that. It's an enhanced connection that you're feeling energetically with them right now. And I feel like a lot of that is the divine masculine that is connecting with the feminine. So you might not be, you might not be it might not be on purpose for you, divine feminines, let's put it that way. You might not even be focused on your masculine. You might be focused on your work or your friendships or your travel or whatever it is that you're doing, other relationships. But I feel like your masculine might be popping up. There might be a lot of signs, synchronicities. You might be seeing their name. You might be having contact with people who are connected to them, maybe even out of the blue. And so just allow for that. Don't force it. Don't attach to it. Just allow for that flow of that energy. And I also feel like there might be some clarity coming in for you. And what I mean by clarity is maybe an understanding of what your counterpart's going through right now, maybe an understanding of where they are in the journey, maybe even just an understanding of yourself. They're showing you something about yourself. Again, it's going to resonate for everybody in a little bit of a different way, but I feel like there is the masculine that is connecting with the feminine. Feminine, I feel like, again, you're very self-focused. Like, you're not hyper-focused on your masculine, but that's where the energy is able to flow. When you're hyper-focused on your masculine, when you're watching all the readings, when you're focused on what is he doing, what is she doing, then you get outside of yourself, right? You are in the energy of focusing on or worried too much about the physical. Again, the connection is inside of you. It always exists inside of you, as part of you, because your counterpart is you. There is no separation between you and your counterpart. Your counterpart is you. Your masculine, your divine counterpart masculine, is your inner masculine energy. You're their feminine. So allow yourself to keep releasing any place where you're still maybe hyper focused on the person, and keep connecting with the energy, because I feel like that's what's happening. There is a flow between the energy that is opening up, that is releasing, and I feel like that's part of the divine masculine surrender. So I feel like they are connecting to the feminine energy. They're connecting to you, divine feminine, and I feel like that's because there's a lot of surrender within them right now. It almost feels like a sigh of relief is what I'm getting. A sigh of relief to finally surrender. And I feel like that's because they've been in resistance for so long. And I'm trying to find out what was it that they were in resistance to. And that's going to be a number of things. It's going to be multi-layered is what they're saying. So it could be they were in resistance to growth, evolution, and change. It could be that they were in resistance to love, relationship, connection. And again, I'm not talking about relationship as we were programmed to understand relationships. This connection is a sacred connection. If we're still attaching the old blueprint of what we think relationships should be, then we're missing the whole point of the journey. And that is an emphatic message that has been coming through for the past couple of months. We are beyond the old template of relationship, that a relationship needs to be this, or a relationship needs to look like this. This is a sacred connection. This is a sacred bond that you have with another person. And it's an energetic bond first and foremost. And with that, the energy has to flow. And so both of you might have been blocking it in one way or the other, resisting in one way or the other, and that's what creates that chaser-runner dynamic. And I go into that in my book, The Unity Code, which comes out October 10th, so make sure that you are pre-ordering it if you're interested. But we go deep into those teachings in previous readings and channelings, so I'm not going to go into that today, but that's what this energy is. It's about the flow. It's about the releasing of the resistance, and I feel like that's what's happening for this divine masculine. They are surrendered. They're surrendering old parts of themselves, to go through this regeneration, to go through this rebirth, which they've already gone through a huge layer of that rebirth, a huge layer of their ascension. But it feels like now there's this, okay, what I'm actually hearing is, as they were going through this process of rebirth, this process of ascension, it's almost like now they're at the place where they strip down. They were in the underworld of themselves. Now they're stripped down, and they have the ability to build themselves back up in a new energy, in a new identity, in a new version of themselves, connected to their soul. So it's like the mask had to strip down, and now they're building themselves back up anew, and that's part of the surrender, and that's part of the relief that they felt, or that I'm feeling for them, that okay, I've been resisting, and maybe in their physical life, all sorts of things have been happening as a result of that resistance. But now it feels like, as part of the rebirth, as part of their ascension, that mask has finally crumbled, has finally fallen, and it's like, okay, I don't have a choice but to allow for this process. And through this stripping down, through this nakedness, through this vulnerability, I'm building myself up. And I feel like that process is going to continue through the end of the year, the building themselves back up. And that's going to look different and for everybody. Again, this is a collective reading. For some, it's going to be an internal for everybody, it's going to be an internal process, but it's going to look different for everybody externally. So for some, it might be mending relationships, healing beliefs within the self. It may be moving. It might be changing the relationship that you have with money or tangible items, new jobs, new businesses, whatever that looks like. It's not the old way. The divine masculine clung to the old way, the old 3D paradigm, the old physical world, right? And part of their ascension, their awakening, their rebirth has been connecting with the soul of themselves. Not the obligation, not the expectation, and not the mask that they wore to appease other people, because they felt that they needed to make X amount of money, or they needed to have X amount of tangible items, or they needed to produce this kind of picture, or this kind of facade, right? That was making them so unhappy. They were making themselves miserable, but they didn't know how to get out of those patterns. This rebirth, this regeneration, whatever, and I feel like it came from Tower Moments. They're reminding me of the reading Towers Create Transcendence that we channeled back in, I think, March. So this is coming from something very physical. We've been channeling that tower for a while now, but now from the other end of the tower is the breakthrough. Whatever crumbles gets rebuilt, and I feel like this is part of the beginning of that rebuilding. And especially with these cosmic energies supporting this, there's going to be a new path forward over the next couple of months. A new creation, a new maybe even a new version of themselves. This is transformation here, and it comes from this level of surrender. You see this peace that they're feeling? You see how like there's this light, this energetic light that's shining down on them? It's coming from that level of surrender. Finally, I feel like this energy of, okay, relief. But this is coming from the masculine, feeling relieved. I don't have any choice but to surrender. So rather than resisting and fighting and creating self-fulfilling prophecies and patterns and going through the same cycles over and over and over and over again, these consciousness loops, these ego traps, there's this energy of I surrender. What I'm hearing is, I give it to you, God. I give it to you. So whatever their beliefs, there is this energy of surrender to a higher power, whatever you call it, the universe. There is this energy of surrender that's coming through here, and I feel like this is part of that rebirth, that awakening, that accelerated ascension. And again, I feel like it's going to continue over the next couple of months as this process. Now, Divine Feminines, what I'm also hearing is that you might not recognize what's happening. There might not be anything in the physical that you are seeing. That doesn't mean that there's not transformation that is happening. Tune into your heart space, right? We channeled in previous readings that it's almost like there's a veil between counterparts. You might call that separation, but remember, separation is an illusion. It is not separation. Even if you are not physically in communication, even if you are physically apart, energetically, you are always one. You are and always have been in union. You are and always will be union. And so you're releasing any of those old templates, those illusions of what you believe separation to be. So don't look at the physical and say, oh, we're in separation because we are not talking, or this happened, or we're not in a relationship. That's not an indication of union. Union is energetic. It's energetic first, and then it plays out in the physical in certain ways. But don't worry about that now. Let it unfold. Be in the unfolding of it. Be very present with yourself. Be very present in your own life without worrying about what the masculine is doing. Let them go through their journey, just as you've gone through yours. Trust. Have that faith. Hold that space. Be in your own energy of surrender. Let it be. All these messages that have come through over the past year and a half, really relevant and important, profound right now. So we have a playlist of sacred channelings. What do I call them? Highlights. So if you want just a short and sweet messages, they're like between 4 and 8 minutes long. You can check out that playlist because everything that we've channeled over the past year, I have tried to highlight the important messages for your journey. You can check that out in the playlist. If you missed anything, or if you just need some reminders of letting it be, allowing it to unfold, allowing your own surrender, that there is no separation, that you're always in union, all of that is in that playlist. Okay, let's see what's going on for the Divine Feminine right now. What's going on for the Divine Feminine right now? We have action. I'm going to take this in reverse, and we do have the masculine at the bottom of the deck. I almost feel like, Divine Feminines, you might be in this energy of stillness right now, and I'm almost getting like this is very short-lived. So it might just be this weekend, it might just be for a week, a couple of days, but you might be in this energy of stillness. Allow for that. You don't have to take action right now. Allow for the stillness. There is still movement energetically, even if you're not pursuing anything, even if you're not moving anything. It's almost like this energy of be in your feminine energy, not your masculine right now. We all have both energies within us. Sometimes, we lean into the masculine energy at various points in our day because we need to. That's how you get things done. The union, your inner union, is a balance of the two, where you are connected with your feminine, which is your core energy, and you're also connected with your masculine energy. And I'm not talking about your masculine counterpart. I'm talking about your inner masculine energy, which essentially, is talking about your masculine counterpart. But I'm talking about your energy, not your counterpart here. Your union is trusting your intuition, trusting when to take that intuitive action. And right now, I feel like you're being asked to just be still, slow down. For some of you, it might look like something like I'm experiencing, which is one day I feel really great and motivated and I'm doing stuff, and the next day I'm, feeling a little bit under the weather and foggy and head coldy and sinusy, and I'm being called to just veg out and relax. And it's a little bit frustrating because it's like, okay, am I sick? Am I not sick? Am I sick? Am I not sick? But my body's doing a really great job of fighting whatever it is off. And I'm just allowing myself to go with the flow every single day. If I'm feeling great, then I go out and I do what I need to do. If I'm not, then I allow myself to just rest and take care of my physical body, take care of my physicalness. So trust where you're being guided. If it's not action, don't take action. Don't force anything. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just allow yourself to honor and trust what your soul, what your intuition is guiding you to do. That is the balance of your feminine and your masculine. There's a purpose for this, is what I'm hearing. I'm going to get more into that in a minute. I'm going to get some tarot here. But let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can understand what that is. It does feel like there's a purpose here. Okay, with the resilience card, it feels like you've been carrying so much, and it almost feels like this is like 10 of Wands energy. You've been carrying so much and you're letting so much go, and you might not be experiencing that in the physical. For some of you, it might be very physical, again, like job changes, relationship changes, and I feel like that's really coming on the heels of, again, the Lionsgate energy and even Mercury retrograde, stuff coming back around again for you to clear. We're in the midst of Mercury retrograde right now. So stuff coming back around for you to clear, old patterns that you're breaking, old habits that you're releasing, old beliefs that you're changing. So you're letting the burdens down. You're releasing the old stuff. There's a conclusion that is happening here. And so for some, you might actually be taking physical action to end relationships, or to end jobs that you don't like, or to move into jobs that you do like, or to close out projects, or to whatever this is, whatever it is in the physical, right? Whatever the situation is. For others, it could just be an energetic thing, because remember, energy is always moving. Even if you're not seeing anything happen in your physical world, even if you're like, well, nothing's happening in my life, there's still stuff that is happening. You might just not be aware of it. There's still energy that is moving. And so that's, again, where it's like, just allow yourself to be. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to push for anything. Especially don't force action where you're being called to just sit still. Be in that stillness for a little bit if you're called to, because again, there's still energy that's moving, and there are consciousness breakthroughs that happen from being in that stillness, from allowing yourself in that stillness. What happens sometimes when we're too active or too in our masculine energy is we get distracted. We disconnect from ourselves. We disconnect from source. And so allowing yourself to be in that stillness allows us to reconnect with ourselves, refuel ourselves, and feed our soul again. Fill up that cup, so to speak. So there's a lot of messages here. Take the ones that resonate for you. I feel like this is multi-layered, and it might resonate for everybody in a little bit of a different way. But don't force action. If you're not being called to, be in that stillness, because there's a lot that's being released right now, either from your physical life or energetically. Maybe even both, but again, energetically, you're going to see the shift in your physical life, but I feel like it's going to be more of a maybe belief, a shift in consciousness, a shift in identity, breakthroughs, stuff like that, energetic breakthroughs. That's going to help you really then take action for your life in a new way. And that's another reason why you're being asked to be in the stillness, rather than forcing something, rather than pushing for something, because as you change your identity, as you change your self-concept, your perspective, your beliefs, as you shift your own energy and release the old version of yourself and move into the new, your world, your physical world actually changes. Your physical world is a reflection of your inner world. And so the more that you nurture that inner world, the more that's going to have an effect on your outer world, right? On, jobs and finances and relationships, etc., in a number of different ways. So that might also be why you're asked to sit still, especially if you're going through the energetic release, because your physical world will then change. And so you're not being called to push forward to, let's give an example. Let's say you have a goal that you're trying to attain and take action on. Let's say it's like a business goal. For some reason, I'm seeing somebody opening up a shop or something like that. You're pushing forward, you're pushing forward, you're pushing forward. Maybe it's like money that's not coming through, and it's getting you frustrated, and it's getting you, contracts are falling apart left and right. It is Mercury retrograde right now as well, remember. But if you were to surrender the masculine energy, right? If you were to be still, rather than pushing for action and trying to fix everything, trying to find solutions and trying to make it happen, if you were to just take a step back and energetically just be, then you are reconnecting with yourself. You're reconnecting with your intuition, which is going to provide the solution that you need. because what you're doing is you're shifting into a new energy, and that new energy is going to align differently. So maybe there's, for example, a contract that falls through. It's because your own energy is not aligned to whoever's on the other end of that contract. So whoever's going to come in with a new contract is actually going to be better. But if you were to push forward with that old contract, then maybe you would be wrapping yourself up in a cycle, wrapping yourself up in some karmic energy there, right? Some old energy there. You're releasing the burdens of the past. You're releasing that old energy. And so by allowing yourself just to take a moment and be still, as you shift into new energy, you're going to open up to new opportunities. Again, that word opportunity, right? You're going to open up to new timelines, and you're going to open up to new contracts, experiences, solutions, etc. Does that make sense? So there's a purpose for the stillness, because you're shifting energetically. Your physical world is going to reflect on that. Don't try to push forward in the old energy, because then you're just going to be repeating the old energy. Okay, let's see what's coming through for the union energy between the two. What's going on for the union energy between the two? One card, please, for the union energy between the two. I'm just hearing this energy of don't be surprised if you show up in each other's dreams. Even if you're in no contact and you're not aware that you're in your counterparts' dreams, you probably will be showing up in your counterparts' dreams, especially if they're showing up in yours. Messages, understanding, clarity, communication coming through in dream state. Very heightened right now. We have the cards. Oh, that's way too many. I'm not going to take that. Okay, we have the path. Yeah. It's almost like we're walking through a new doorway. It's almost like we're walking through a new, like almost into a new era. Again, I'm getting called to the 8 number. This Lionsgate was extremely potent. And we're not even seeing the full effect of how important this Lionsgate energy was and why it was so important. Again, we channeled all this in the Lionsgate Sacred Integration. I have a highlight in on our channel here of some of those messages. And it's funny, I'm not getting called to repeat any of those messages. I just know that that Lionsgate energy, the Lionsgate channeling that we did for the workshop was so important and so potent. But they're not bringing me to it. It's just like, keep going forward, keep looking forward. But I do feel like that was an important gateway for us. It was an important lead-in to what it is that we're creating. What was the energy that you were in? Allowing ourselves to shift into this new, create the new. It's all about becoming that empowered creator. That was a phrase that came through in the workshop, how you are the empowered creator. Allowing yourself to become that empowered creator. Again, that's a shift in your energy. It's a shift in your identity. It's a shift in your self-concept, which is going to open up new timelines and open up new opportunities. And that's going to open up new timelines and opportunities for your sacred connection as well. We began this channeling talking about how the super new moon was all about liberation from the old and innovation of the new. And a lot of that comes from you. It comes from your perspective, your beliefs. We had this energy of releasing the resistance, this message of releasing the resistance, especially where you had the guarded heart. The more you shift in how you view your counterpart and how you view the connection and how you view sacred union, the more that's going to have an impact on the union. And that's where I feel like this new doorway is opening up. Many of you are going to be understanding union in a completely new way, especially if you were attached to the physical nature of union, the physical relationship. You're going to be understanding it in a completely new way. Again, I want to guide you guys to the Unity Code, because I talk a lot about what union is and what union isn't. We've been talking a lot about redefining union, redefining the twin flame label, the twin flame concept, because it had been so hijacked, it had been so corrupted. Because we tend to think it's one thing versus another. It is a sacred connection. It is a sacred love. And I really want to emphasize what that means. It is divine. And it's not about just the physical nature. It's about the energetic merging. It's about the holy connection between you two. It's about the energy. I don't quite know what to say. It is about this new earth energy, this Christ Sophia consciousness energy that is really coming forth here. So I feel like this path is this gateway that's opening up. It's a new level of consciousness, especially around redefining sacred union, redefining twin flame, redefining sacred partners, especially for you personally, not just collectively, but you personally, looking at your connection in a different way and releasing the resistance, releasing the guard, and just allowing yourself to be open to the energetic flow of love between you two. Allowing yourself to connect. It doesn't have to mean you're connecting in the physical. Again, you don't have to engage depending on what your experience is, but you know in your heart what your connection is. And that's where you hold space for it. That's where you believe in it. And you don't have to doubt your inner knowing. You can trust your intuition, what you feel at the core of yourself. You can trust that. Again, you don't have to connect physically, but you can open up to the connection energetically. And that's what opens up everything. That's what opens the doorway for everything. By tuning in to the higher heart, by tuning into the heart space. Because this is where your union exists. It exists on that bridge of the heart. Again, I'll put references to old readings, timeless readings in the description box. Okay, we are getting into the tarot part, and I just want to mention we announced this and shared this in our recent Sacred Union Energy update. My good friend Luna Marie and Soul Sister has a new tarot deck, the Warrior of Love Tarot. You have seen me use her Oracle deck all the time. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to be using this deck today. I love this deck. I'm so excited for her. And if you're interested in purchasing a deck, there's a link in the description box as well. All right, let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculine right now. The High Priestess. This came out in the previous Sacred Union Energy update as well. And this is also indicative of the Divine Feminine. Remember when I said that I feel like the masculine is really connecting with the Divine Feminine? That's why you're seeing those synchronicities. That's why you're feeling connected. That's why you're experiencing them in dream state, or why they feel so visceral, even though you're not focused on them. This is for those who are not watching readings all the time and wondering what they're doing all the time. This is for those of you who feel that connection organically now, who feel it naturally just as part of you. That you're in union. You're in union with yourself. You're in that inner union. And if you're in union with yourself, you're in union with your counterpart. It just might not look it in the physical, right? It might not be a physical union quite yet, but you're in union with yourself. You feel that joy, you feel that peace. You know that no matter what you're experiencing in the physical, no matter what the physical looks like, there is a love that you are feeling flow between the two of you. That is union. That is union. Don't look at union as it has to be physical, because then you're creating some kind of separation between you two. You're creating that resistance, right? You are in union. And so this is for those of you who are feeling that you're not feeling that separation. Your partner is connected with you. You feel connected with your partner despite what is happening in the physical. And let me make it clear that sometimes you might experience those wibble wobbles, right? You know, sometimes you might, and that's the process of union as well. Sometimes you might feel like a longing or a missing of your person if you're not in contact with them. And that's okay. That's a very human thing. Don't judge it. Don't try to avoid that or suppress it. Just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that comes up, because that's a very, again, normal human experience. But keep coming back to the reminder, to the remembrance that you are in union. You always have been in union. And the more you feel into that peace, and that joy and that love that exists across time and space, that no matter what's happening in the physical, you feel that connection within you. You feel them as a part of you. It's not that obsessiveness that you once felt. Believe me, I've been there. I've been through everything with you guys. And I'm so glad that I have shared my own journey along with you on this channel and shared my experiences, because it shows what the evolution of this journey really is. It really shows how we redefine what we think union is, redefine what we think these sacred partnerships is. It really shows us how far we have come. So it is, your partner's always there. It's just a more natural, organic feeling of, yeah, you're still thinking about them, but it's not that obsessive. What is they doing? What are they thinking? Are they thinking about me, etc.? That passes. You don't need to know. You just know that there is love, and that's it. You just know that there's this energy of love And there's this energy of faith that no matter what they're experiencing, no matter what they're going through, you know that there's this love that is there between you two. And anywhere where you're still feeling resentment, triggers, anger, fear, whatever it is that triggers you, whatever it is that comes up, you keep transmuting it. You keep working on it. You keep allowing yourself to work through that. That's the inner work. That's the journey. So again, I feel like the masculine is connecting with the inner feminine energy, and they're also connecting with you, their counterpart, as a divine feminine. I feel like, remember we talked about like heightened intuition? This is the masculine energy. I feel like the masculine energy is, again, dreaming about you, thinking about you, connecting with you, maybe meditating over you. Depends on, what it is that they do. But they're very attuned to their intuition right now, and that intuition is connected to you. So I feel like they're very attuned to you right now, divine feminine. Again, it's going to look different for everybody, but they might be thinking about you. They might be wanting to call you, wanting to reach out, or it just might be happening in dream state. I don't want to say just, because I don't want it to sound nonchalant like that. I don't want it to feel neglectful like that. But it might be happening in dream state too. They might be connecting with you in dream state too. So pay attention, especially over the next 2 days, to your dreams, especially with this super blue full moon energy. What's going on for the divine masculine right now? Divine feminine. The Page of Wands. Yeah, some might be, I'm getting this word creativity with the Page of Wands here. I feel like some might be, okay, when I say this, let me be clear. I'm trying to articulate this energy. I'm hearing this phrase creative action. It feels creative. Now, action doesn't have to be in the physical. It doesn't have to be action towards the feminine. But there's some kind of an action that they're taking. It's an intuitive action that they're taking. Remember we talked about that for the divine feminine? Be in the stillness? I feel like it's the opposite for the divine masculine. There's some kind of action that they're taking. For some, it might be communication. For those who are already in communication, I want to be clear. For those who are already in communication, again, this might be where some vulnerable, emotionally intimate conversations might be had. A deepening of conversations might be had. For others, I feel like this is the masculine that is kind of putting a plan into place. And we've been channeling that over the past couple of months, and I feel like there's steps that are being taken. For some reason, I'm seeing somebody going back to school. It could be learning something new, it could be spiritual studies, but there's some kind of learning that I feel is happening, some kind of a higher level learning that is happening. That could be some of the creative action that they're taking. It could be like they're going back to school for like a business, to open up a business, or to learn about finances, to how to manage their finances with more stability. It could be that they're learning about connections and relationships, but there's some kind of learning. It's going to be different for everybody, but I do feel like there's some kind of a higher level learning. And I don't mean like secondary education, like college, although it could be that, maybe somebody's finishing a degree or something like that, or getting a, like a master's degree or doctorate or something like that. That could be a specific message. But I feel like this is like a higher consciousness learning. They're taking action. It's like they're putting plans into place for the next step of their life. And I feel like there's some kind of learning that is happening for that. Again, it's like maybe they have a desire, have always had a dream of opening up their own business, and so they're taking business courses. That's creative action for the next step of their life. It's the first action that you take. You learn how to run a business, you learn what business is, etc. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a first step for the rest of their life. That's what this energy feels like. And I feel like it's like they're trusting their intuition now because they're surrendered. They're listening to their intuition to guide them. They're like, okay, I'm done trying to push this ball up the hill and feel like I'm going nowhere. I'm done, trying to pressure myself. I'm just surrendered. Guide me, God. That's what I feel like they're doing now. They're just letting God guide them. All right, anything else for the divine masculine? We're going to continue. Hold on. Anything else for the divine masculine? There's the tower. Yep, exactly. That tower's already crumbled. That tower's already come through. And what they're doing is they're on the other side. And on the other side is revelation and breakthrough. And it's like, oh, okay, so this happened. Maybe business fell through. Maybe finances were lost. Maybe relationships crumbled. Well, you can't do things the old way. What's the definition of insanity is repeating the same mistake over and over and over and expecting a different outcome, right? Well, that's what they have been doing. Years and years and years ago, we channeled a message that the tower had to crumble, because what the tower had been built on was a faulty foundation. It was an old foundation. It was a foundation of ego and masks and obligation, expectation of other people, facades. It was not a sturdy, stable foundation. It was not a conscious foundation. And so they had built that tower, and that tower had to crumble, right? So that it could be built on a new foundation. Well, now they're putting the steps into place, creative action, guided by their intuition, guided by even you, Divine Feminine, I feel. Really taken to heart, I'm hearing what you have said, how you've guided them, things you've presented in the past. For some, they might be looking at you and how you're living your life and leading your life in that embodiment, and they're feeling inspired by you, motivated by you. So you're very present for them as well, Divine Feminine. Now they're putting that into place to build a much more stable foundation for the rest of their life. This is a huge regeneration, a huge rebirth, a huge change for them. I feel like many of them are going to be doing this in silence, in secret almost. So that, again, that veil is up so that you might not be aware, but there's a huge change that is coming through. I want to continue this and see how they might be feeling about you, Divine Feminines. How is the Divine Masculine feeling about the Divine Feminine right now? How is the Divine Masculine feeling about the Divine Feminine? Nine of Cups. Yeah, and I feel like that's how they see you. There's this purity energy that's coming through in this Nine of Cups. And I love that this is... God, I love this deck so much. I got sneak peeks of this. So I feel very lucky to have already, gotten a sneak peek of this. But man, these symbols that are coming through here. You have the rainbow energy here. You have just this pureness that's coming through here, this light that's coming through here, and all this water energy. It's cups energy, of course, but all this water energy, it feels like fulfillment, which is what the Nine of Cups represents. You are that fulfillment for the Divine Masculine, and I feel like they're in surrender to that. They're recognizing that you are their happiness. And I feel like that's what's guiding them. That's what's motivating them. That's what's inspiring them. They've come to that conclusion. They've come to that illumination. They've realized that. That's what's been coming through the past couple of months. And now it's like they're fully surrendered to that. They're allowing that. That's part of the relief. Okay, rather than fighting, rather than resisting, I'm just going to give into the love. Give into the love that I feel. And Divine Feminines, this is mirroring you. This could even be your inner masculine as well, Divine Feminines, especially if your guard was up with regards to your inner masculine. So take this as your inner masculine as well. But as you're healing your inner masculine, it's going to heal your masculine energy or your counterpart energy, right? So I feel like this could be, you're mirroring this as well, Divine Feminines. Remember we talked a lot about releasing that resistance? That's this energy here. Divine Masculine. How is the Divine Masculine feeling towards the feminine? Four of Cups. Yeah, so they're still moving through this. And the Empress. There you are, Divine Feminine. Look how gorgeous these are. So there you are. There you are flourishing. That's what this energy is. You are flourishing, and that's what's actually motivating them. That's what's motivating them, inspiring them, because you are in your energy. And even if you're not in communication, even if they don't see you, they can sense this. You can sense each other. That's what this connection is. You can feel each other. You can sense each other. The more you're in that energy of joy and peace and love that we've been channeling for the past couple of months, they can feel that. Just like you can feel your Divine Masculine, they can feel you. They just might not have been so tuned in and understanding of it, but now they are. Now they're surrendered to it. So, Divine Feminines, I feel like, again, this empowerment energy that's coming through for you, the more that you are embracing your journey, not focused on your counterpart, focused on yourself, embracing your life, embracing that love you have for yourself, that is what is really inspiring, motivating, and shifting the energy of your masculine too. With the Four of Cups, there is a process of moving through past energy, releasing past energy. But it's like they're motivated to do that now. That's part of what they're surrendering. That's part of what they're releasing. There's a lot of mirroring that's happening here. It might look different on the surface in the physical, especially if you're in contact with your counterpart or you know what they're experiencing. But energetically, you're in alignment. Energetically, you're going through the same thing. Energetically, you're mirroring each other. Okay. Divine Feminine, how are you feeling about your masculine? This one wants to come out. We have the Five of Pentacles. Remember when I said that you might be missing your masculine? You might be going through some wobbles where you might feel some longing for them. You might feel that sometimes. You might feel a little bit like you are rejected, or you might feel a little bit neglected from your counterpart. But turn that on its head. Keep flipping that script. Remember that separation is an illusion. The Five of Pentacles is feeling left out in the cold, right? It's the energy of abandonment. Remember that you were not abandoned, because you're not abandoning yourself. You're not abandoning yourself. You're honoring yourself. You're loving yourself. I'm going to try to keep refraining from repeating myself in other readings and other teachings. Again, if you want to understand some of these messages and go deeper with these messages of self-love and honoring and how to focus on yourself, how to empower yourself and shifting your connection, I really encourage you guys to check out our Ascension Connections portal, our sacred channelings, our offerings, and our sacred membership that's going to be launching September 1st, because we're going to go deep into these breakthroughs, into these transformations for you, your life, and your sacred union. All right, how is Divine Feminine feeling about the Divine Masculine? And I want to call to this too. See how her eyes are closed? What I'm getting is she's connecting with herself. She's going within. She's not focused on what the external world looks like. She's not focused on, her counterpart isn't talking to her. Her counterpart has blocked her. Her counterpart is doing this or that in the physical. She is releasing all of that separation, illusion, and she's connecting with her heart, because she knows that that's where the connection exists. That's where it exists. Divine Feminine, how are you feeling about your Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine, how are you feeling about your Divine Masculine? We have the Chariot. Yeah. The Chariot is movement. And that's where I feel like be still right now, because even in the stillness, there is movement. There is something that is shifting. And the more that you connect within yourself versus seeking externally for anything, the more that you release the resistance to what you're feeling intuitively, what you are feeling inside of yourself, in your heart, the more that you connect to the connection inside of yourself, the more there is this balance and the more there is this forward movement. You, as an empowered creator, direct your destiny. You're in charge. You're in charge here, especially as a Divine Feminine. It's your energy that gives birth to these realities, to these new timelines. And so what is it that you're choosing? And the Ace of Cups, you're choosing love. You're choosing self-love first and foremost, and from that overflow, it spills over into the connection. It reflects in the connection, and not only the connection, but everything around you, all of your experiences, all of your reality. The Ace of Cups also indicates a new beginning, and with the 10 of Wands energy coming through here, that resilience energy, you're releasing the resistance, you're releasing the old to embrace the flow of love. Beautiful. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands and we have the Lover's card. These two cards are indicative of this union. And the Six of Wands is this victory over conflict, this victory over the past, victory over who we were. And again, it's this redefining sacred union, understanding truly what sacred union is. Not what we think it is, not what we need it to be, not what we're conditioned to believe it to be, but what we intuitively know it to be, the sacredness of love. That's what the Lovers indicates as well. All right, it is storming here, so we are going to start wrapping up with some guidance. Let's get a card of guidance for the Divine Masculine. What does the Divine Masculine need to know? Your dreams need a practical plan. What were we talking about? That creative action, putting plans into action, putting that first step into action. That's what's happening here. I feel like they had been, we had channeled this message before. I feel like they had been in this energy of planning, but like almost like a fantasy kind of thing, daydreaming what they want to do. Now they need to put it into practical action, into practical plan. And I feel like that's the first step that they're doing. Learning something, some kind of education. This could be an actual schooling education, classes, stuff like that. Or it could be a spiritual education, something that they're learning about themselves. So they are putting it into practice. They have to keep putting it into practice. Divine Feminine. Oh, goodness. Divine Feminine. The energy is gaining momentum and believe in the impossible. Yeah. Remember, even in the stillness, the energy is moving. And we can feel that. Again, first from the Lionsgate energy, this blue super full moon is enhancing everything, enhancing the energy as well. This ascension is accelerating. This ascension energy is picking up. You know, we're moving very quickly through new timelines and creating new timelines and anchoring in new timelines. And so keep creating in the highest point of creation energy. Keep empowering yourself. Keep staying in those high energies, those high frequencies. Keep integrating that. Keep anchoring into what you know and believe is possible. Keep holding space for that. Okay? All right. And let's get a card for the union. Anything we need to know for the union? It's time to take action. Yeah. The time to take action here is the momentum. It's the movement. There's movement that is happening in these connections. So I would not be surprised if within the next couple of months you see actual physical movement. There's a lot that's happening behind the scenes now. There's a veil between the two of you perhaps. But I feel like there's going to be movement within the next couple of months. Some kind of physical movement. And this could be, it could vary. It could be that you hear something about your counterpart through a third party. It could be that you see something, you have meetups, you have conversation, you have communication. It could be in a number of different ways depending on what your specific path and scenario looks like. But there is going to be a movement with regards to physical action. Divine Masculine is already taking action. Divine Feminines, you're being called to sit and not take action. That's not that you're not doing anything. It's just that there's so much energy moving that new timelines are being created, and you're going to be taking action within those new timelines. You're just releasing the old timelines, everything that we channeled previously. So that's going to create the momentum for new action to take place, for new movement, for new opportunities. You're going to be in a new energy. So that new energy is going to create something new in your physical reality. And that's where you take the action. So there's this movement energy that's coming through. Okay? All right, everybody. That is going to be it. We'll be back later this week with another reading, whether an Ascension energy update or a Sacred Union energy update. I'm not quite sure yet, whatever comes through. Do, again, make sure that you are checking out the sacred channelings that I'm reposting, because there's going to be a lot more there, a lot more in-depth messages and understanding for our journey that's going to have relevance even now, especially now. Okay? I'm sending you all so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon.